Now for the third stage, things are a little switched up here, as we got this ostrich robot thing that was eating grass oddly, and we can ride in it now, and it goes really, really fast. Although to me it looks more like a robotic chocobo, but you can decide what it is for yourselves. In this thing you can move all around in it with the D-pad and the L and R buttons. But you can also jump out of it and attack, which is very handy, especially against these guys that you can't reach with its projectile attack. And you can still rocket in it and stuff. On the hard difficulty, there's quite a few enemies, and they're in very annoying positions where you have to like get out. And even if you hit the guy below the birds that they're carrying, the birds will fly off and attack you from another direction. So just watch out for that. And there's quite a few gems too, but reacting quickly to where they are is quite difficult because you're going very fast. Yeah, blast processing ain't got nothing on this. So, yeah, now we're going downhill, and now we can keep shooting at them like this. However, we switch from birds now. But then this might happen. You can actually get hit and get out. Because I just remembered there's actually another one. Because if you get over there after I get some health back and get rid of avoid those guys, you can actually bypass most of the level if you get to this one, and we get to the mini boss, which is this. His name is Colonel Wolfheim, I think. But considering what he's wearing, I just call him Bison Wolf. Anyway, he's on this robot, this very skinny robot thing that throws bombs at you. But he's quite easy to deal with as long as you just avoid his bombs and just attack him directly. And then it blows up. And then all of a sudden he gets really fast somehow. And that path rewards you with tons of health, even though we didn't really need it. But that's always good. And now we're back to this. Just going from Chocobo to Chocobo, essentially. I just ducked to be safe to avoid those things. Of course, if you duck there, you'll miss a gem, but it's only like one gem, and there's a lot of these owl robots. But okay, now that we're down back here, there's a bridge. Just move all the way to the right to avoid falling to your death. And we got these things to deal with. These things are climbing these things are like climbing on that rope pretty fast to catch up to you, considering how fast your Chocobo is going. These things are a little bit annoying to deal with because their bomb blasts are kind of a bit tricky to avoid, but as long as you have decent health against this thing, which is I guess a robotic caterpillar. It shoots bombs. Just press up and shoot with your robot ostrich, chocobo beam, whatever. And there's also, when you do damage to it, parts of it will come off. Just attack the parts when they get close to you, otherwise they'll just keep hitting you. But this boss is kind of a pushover. Now we're in the second phase. With this, you can just keep blasting it. Just make sure to try and avoid the fire, but for the most part you can just keep blasting it and it'll just die. Like I said, this boss is a little bit of a pushover. Like even on the hard difficulty, it didn't really give me much trouble. And boing, we boing on over to the next stage, which is right into a submarine. Okay. You may also recognize the music. This is the music from the airship level in the Genesis Sparkster, which is quite a good track. So we have to get rid of this thing that's on this snake wall thing, I don't know, to get down below. And here is a laser thing we have to avoid. One thing this game does differently than the others is that Sparkster can actually move while crouched. He's a bit more agile, I guess you could say, or has a bit more maneuverability. So with this part, you just have to kill these lens things and don't directly touch it, or it'll blow up in your face. Obviously. You don't necessarily have to duck, but I just duck just to play it safe. And pressing duck will also make you look down and see little fishies. Okay, now we're in, I guess, the engine room. There's just a couple guards here, and uh-oh, we stumbled into the sleeping quarters. You can actually, if you just boost through quickly, you can just get by them, but no problem. Like, don't stick around and fight all of them. And this, you just take your time, because if those will make you launch up into the spikes above, which will hurt. So it's just all about patience here. You can't be rocketing all the time everywhere. I think is there something in there? No, never mind. More. There's steam. Just another sit and wait kind of situation. I wouldn't say it takes away from the flow. It's just, you know, it's just standard platforming kind of thing. I don't mind that stuff. And once again, like every enemy faction in all the Rocket Knight games, they're powering their own vessel with their own man, or in this case, wolf power. I like how they don't even really seem to care that I'm there. I'm just like, they're just like too busy to. And these things you only see in this level. If you grab onto them, Sparkster will use its tail to swing around. There's also these bouncy pads, and grab some health. One thing you can also do is you can actually rocket into them, and you'll spin really fast. It's kind of funny, but those don't really serve much of a purpose. So, it would be interesting to see them used designed correctly. But this part, you just have to go really fast. The boosting up and then rolling technique works very well in this, as you can see, not even close to getting me. And if we go up here, oh look, this little fishy gave me health and a gem, and aww, it blew up. Oh well. So, we got another extra life. I'm getting quite a few lives in this game, and with this part there's planes, but it's better to just keep going, because if you stick around and fight them, you know, they'll probably end up hurting you, because you have to hit the planes like once or twice, I think, to get them to fall out, and then you can knock them off the sub, but it's not really worth it to fight them. And now we're in the gun placements of the submarine, and we just have to rocket into them. And the third one is a bit too high for me to reach it, so just stand on this little ledge and hit it. And then we get to the other side, and there's Bison Wolf again. All you have to do is just get rid of that little gun turret. And one thing I didn't really mention much in this game is that Sparkster in this game doesn't have very much invulnerability. Even when he's rolling and rocketing, he doesn't have very much sorry, I can't talk. Invulnerability. So the best tactic I find is just boost into the enemy, boost into the boss, and then roll away. Because it's much safer that way. And he blows up, and oh no, there's his hat. And yeah, we did it. We got rid of him for copyright infringement. And now we're in the desert. Unlike the Genesis Sparkster, this desert level has different music, which is alright, but I do prefer the Genesis version of the desert level theme in that. And there's quite a few wolves and mechs, or in this case Arab wolves, because they're wearing the appropriate clothes for the area, all things considering. And then we got this. I just boost down here to avoid getting hit by the balls. And then there's bats. Bats are always annoying in games. These switches here change the layout of the pyramid. I won't lie, I spend quite a bit trying to figure out how to get to each place. Because there are multiple paths to take, there are multiple switches you can flip, and over here there's just some health that I don't need right now. So, yeah. So while I'm just dicking around here with the pyramid, as I was saying earlier with the Sparkster's invulnerability thing, oh, there's a bomb in there, how nice. So with Sparkster's invulnerability, he has a little bit of it when he's rocketing, but because the rocketing in this game is so fast, it doesn't last very long. And he has a tendency to get stuck into enemies instead of like ricocheting away. Well, you can ricochet away from enemies, but it's not as much as the other games. So that's why I tend to just not rocket into normal enemies and save rocketing in for bosses, but then use the boosting the rolling to try and get away from bosses safely. And that thing over there gives you gems, but after a while it just spews out bombs, so... you gotta love multi-layered, multi-leveled switching and all that stuff. Normally I don't really mess around that long in this game, but I wanted to try and make sure that I got everything. It's basically just like switching between 3 different levels. And now I need that health. Oh yeah, and when you're rolling, you don't really have any invulnerability. It's more like an evasion, and it doesn't have any invincibility frames at all. So, and unfortunately, in Rocket Knight Adventures, when you used your sword, you had a little bit of invulnerability if you timed it correctly, but in this you don't. So attacking things up close and directly with your sword is not really that advised. If enemies are really up close to you, spin attacks might work. And in this part of the room, I don't know, it's like a cursed room or something. Your controls are all switched up, both in terms of directions and the button layouts. So that's fun to figure out for the very first time. And down there in that path is where we want to go, but I just want to double check and make sure that I got everything, or at least I can, show off everything. But I don't think there's a whole lot to this place, so again, I just went ahead and we'll get to this mini boss here. I don't know if you can't see it because of my footage, but that was basically 2 halves coming together to form this thing. See, rolling past enemies isn't a really good idea. It's best to just try and rocket past them instead of just like rolling. Rolling does work in a pinch though to avoid some things and get away though at times. It's just about using your rolling and rocketing correctly in this game to make it more effective. So after we get rid of that relatively easy boss, we go in here and we destroy these things, which makes the pyramid drop and cause slowdown. And then now we can go up here. This pyramid is a pretty big place to explore, and we'll get... Oh yeah. The rocket physics, as you saw there, they're a little weird in this game because if you rocket from the floor and skid across, you'll actually skid off and down a platform instead of like going straight across. You have to be jumping in the air and then boosting to go fully across a gap, essentially. And that there, you had to like roll on it, and this one you have to roll as you have to walk on it as it moves, but as you can see, I didn't do too well there, and oh man, this part always gives the worst slowdown in the entire game. It's like they were trying to do too much here with all the enemies and the triangle moving and that. And there's an apple there, but if you get hit by that spikes by the lift, yeah, you'll get crushed and instantly lose a life. So yeah, that's not good. Okay, now we reach the boss, which is this fire snake dragon thing, and he can be a little bit annoying because he is persistent. He will chase you all around. You can attack. You obviously want to go for its head, but you can attack its body. But the problem is when you attack sections of its body, it'll split off into like other heads, and then you'll have to like destroy it to make it come back together. Like, see, there's the head that floated around and it came back, but now I'm dead. Okay, now I'll show you how to correctly do this. In normal, actually, if you duck down and just move along with it, you'll just avoid everything. But on hard, these go down lower, so especially that middle one there. So you have to time it to get rid of that. And if you hit that part of the wall and go up here, you'll find a couple of bats. But there's something else that's worth it. Up here is another extra life thing. And I didn't get too lucky with this roulette, but oh well. Yeah, in that roulette system you can also get health, which I guess would be good if you're low on health, but it's better just to get the extra lives. So now we're here to try this one again. See, you don't want to get hung up in the bosses. That's the worst thing that can happen in this game. It's all about... You don't want to be reckless in this game, especially in the Super Nintendo Sparkster, because the way the physics handle in this game is quite different from the other two games, like in ways you wouldn't expect. Or actually, all three games sort of have like all different types of physics involved. It's a little bit odd to get used to, but once you played all three enough, you'll know the differences, and you can adjust accordingly. Like there, just hit them and run away. Hit-run tactics are usually the best way to go in this Sparkster game. And we got rid of him. So yeah, that boss gave me a tiny bit of trouble, but nevertheless, we will continue on to the next stage.